All right, so I came across this video of Stephen A. Smith having a debate with one of the hosts on The View, talking about Trump's margin of victory and if it was a mandate or not. Now, one thing I'll say about Stephen A. Smith, he's a good debater. I watch him talk about sports, particularly the GOAT debate of basketball, in which he thinks Michael Jordan is the GOAT, which I happen to agree. But that's not what this video is about. One thing about Stephen A. Smith, I'll say, is he's good at arguing points and winning a debate. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you're right or accurate in what you're saying. That means you're winning over the audience. So I give him that, but I kind of question his knowledge on certain things. Is quite dubious, to say the least. Let's go ahead and hop right into this.
So Trump's only been in office for 6 weeks. Seems like 6 years, doesn't it? And he's been going around with his cronies touting his so-called landslide and blowout win. But he won the popular vote by 1.5%. One of the...
Now that look right there that he has on his face right there, that's the look that he has when he's debating, when he's hearing what you're saying, but he's not really listening to what you're saying. He's waiting for you to stop talking so he can make his points. He's not letting he's not really interacting with the information that you're saying. Like, okay, if you're talking to me and I think one thing, but then you say something that makes sense, that's probably going to change what I was going to say, because I'm going to let the information you just shared influence my thoughts if it changes the facts. He doesn't do that. He's going to hear what she's saying, and he's going to, just looking at his face, I watch him enough to know he's ready to go ahead and win the argument, not actually make sense. Or I shouldn't say not make sense. He's ready to end the argument or win the argument, but not necessarily be intellectually honest, if you will. All right.
Smallest ever. And he won the general election by less than 50%. So what kind of mandate is this really?
Well, it is a mandate, and I'm going to explain why. And I don't mind the question, but let me be very clear. I'm no supporter of Trump. I'm a supporter of truth and the facts. And here's the facts. The man won every swing state. He increased in terms of his voter turnout in his favor from the standpoint of blacks, Latinos, and young voters. He increased his numbers in that regard from 2020. 89% of the counties shifted to the right. That's a mandate. We can.
All right. So everything that he just stated is correct. I'm not saying that what he's saying is incorrect, but that's not the definition of a mandate. So just because your support increased, that doesn't necessarily, it could translate into a mandate, but in this case, it doesn't. So if from the first election, you actually lost the popular vote, into this election, you barely won the popular vote. Okay, so that means you definitely improved from last time around. But is that the threshold for a mandate? I don't think so. Here's why. All right, so let's take a look at some of these past elections, right? So these are, I kind of rank these by the margin of victory of the popular vote from the lowest to the highest. So the first one, as you can see, John Quincy Adams lost. Well, actually, he won the election, but if you know a little bit about history, that one was a little bit tricky. It was kind of like some shenanigans that took place in the House that led to John Quincy Adams winning this, but he actually lost the popular vote by 10%. Now, these next few that are in this yellow color, these are examples where someone actually lost the popular vote and they actually ended up being the president. So you can see the second one there is Donald Trump, his 2016 election, in which he lost the popular vote by 2%, but he won the Electoral College, so he became president. And same thing in the fourth row there, in this yellow color, amber, whatever you want to call it, is George W. Bush in 2000, in which he lost the popular vote, and he won the Electoral College and went on to become president. All right, so let's scroll down a little bit. All right, so as we can see these margins, let's go to Donald Trump's 2024 win. Okay, so we're still at the top of the list, kind of. So his 2024 win, which you can see, if I can get my mouse to cooperate with me, is right here, in which he won by 1.48%. Okay. So if that's the definition of a mandate, then what would we call Jimmy Carter winning by 2% or George Bush winning by 2%? Or better yet, Barack Obama winning against Mitt Romney by 3.8%. Was that a mandate? Better yet, What about Joe Biden in 2020 when he defeated Trump and he won by 4.45%? So if Trump won by 1.48% and Joe Biden won by at least 3 times that, then what the hell was that? So when I think of mandates, let's go ahead and scroll down. This is when, to me, when we get into mandate territory. So when we start looking at Ronald Reagan's victory in 1980, was it? When he won by 9.74%. You got to, excuse me, I'm having trouble with my screen here. So that's what's going on here. I got 2 different monitors up and one is displaying better than the other one. So, but anyway, so he won by, just call it 10%. So to me, this is when you get into mandate territory. Franklin Roosevelt, Abraham Lincoln, Dwight Eisenhower winning by 10%, right? Let's keep going. Thomas Jefferson won by 22%. Thomas Jefferson, 45%. James Monroe, 64%. George Washington, 100%. 100%. Well, he didn't have any challengers, so that's kind of not fair. But you get what I'm saying, right? So when you got people that won by 10 plus percent, when you look at more recent history, like I mentioned, Barack Obama winning by 4%, Joe Biden winning by 4%. No one considered those mandates, at least not on the right side of the politics. The right wingers did not consider that a mandate. So it's crazy how we're redefining what a mandate is. So again, you know, what Stephen A. Smith is saying is correct in terms of how Trump outperformed himself. But even his total votes did not surpass what Joe Biden got. So his total votes didn't surpass Joe Biden's. His margin of victory did not surpass Joe Biden's. So how is that a mandate, but no one considered Joe Biden having a mandate? So this is what I'm saying. So we got to be clear when we use these terms. Did he win? No doubt about it. Did he win the popular vote? No doubt about it. Did he improve his margins of victory across different demographics? No doubt about it. But when you do so poorly the first time to where you actually lost the popular vote, but you won the electoral college, and now you win the popular vote, of course those numbers are going to be better than they were last time around. So I don't think that we should use a measuring stick that you outperform yourself to equate that to being a mandate. That just means that you did so poorly last time around to where this time you did okay, which in comparison, it's a lot better. But in comparison to other presidents, it's clearly not a mandate. So that's kind of what I want to focus on here. And that's pretty much it.